Hello everyone, welcome to the classroom. Today we will be discussing one of my favorite characters, not only just from My Hero Academia, but from all of New Gen Shonen, Jin Bubaigawara, aka Twice. However, I will tell you this video does contain spoilers for the My Hero Academia anime, specifically up to episode 3 of season 6, so if you're not caught up with that, please go check that out, then get your ass back here and watch this video. And thank you for joining us as always. You don't have to look far in My Hero Academia to find flaws in the way that the Hero Society works. Hit it, Deku.
This world is a superhuman society.
With about 80% of the population possessing some uncanny ability called a quirk. Heroes fight against villains who abuse their powers for evil. It's no surprise the heroes became our champions.
Our main character, Izuku Midoriya, which also thank you for that rundown, baby, love ya, has wanted to be a hero for his whole life. And that's good, because heroes are the good guys, right? Well, I mean, yeah, most of the heroes we know are good guys. While I have never met Fat Gum, I would not only trust him with my life, but with the lives of literally everyone I know. All Might is so damn good that he makes me cry whenever I even think about him, which could also be a verbatim quote from Deku. But are the heroes, as a group, the good guys? I mean, yeah, they fight the bad guys, the villains, and there are certainly good heroes, and there are plenty of bad villains. All For One, for instance, is almost comically evil. I once saw him light a puppy on fire and then extinguish the flame with his own piss. Okay, yes, if you look at the villains as a monolithic group, they are the bad guys. And obviously, yes, there are bad heroes, but those are just individuals who, while not perfectly looking up to the image All Might set for Hero Society, they still do the right thing, right? But if we take that viewpoint and flip it on its head, that's how you get Twice. Jin Bubaigawara's life could be summed up by just one quote, which he said to himself.
Not your fault you were born with the crappiest luck.
Twice's quirk, known as Double, allows him to turn one thing into two. That can be anything he wants, including people, given he knows their measurements. Now, one of my favorite things about My Hero Academia is the way that quirks are treated on an emotional level. For example, Eijiro Kirishima, quirk Hardening. This allows Kirishima to make his skin jagged and near impenetrable. However, this set him up to believe that in order to be a real man, he has to be as tough as his quirk can make him. So when we look at Twice, it's no surprise that his quirk set him up to have extreme identity issues, only enhanced by the ability to make clones of himself, to make further clones of themselves, who can then in turn make more clones of themselves. When Jin had been fired from his job before the start of the series, in his loneliness and desperation for understanding, he made what he would probably call the biggest mistake of his life. Imagine if you had another you. Sounds pretty awesome, right? Unless you hate yourself. Well, you might be right, except for the fact that when Twice makes a clone of someone, they have to be told that they're a clone. So, when Bubaigawara makes clone after clone of himself, he inevitably worsened his situation when the clones, and even Twice himself, grew suspicious over who the original was. Things turned violent, and watching yourself kill yourself over and over again obviously took a mental toll on Bubaigawara. Twice, now terrified that he may not be the real him, copes by constantly covering his face to feel whole. So, to recap, unchecked mental illness brought about by the nature of Jin Bubaigawara's quirk led him to a full-blown mental breakdown, which pushed him into the arms of the only people who would accept him, the League of Villains. We see this in real life as well, all the time. People are pushed into a dangerous group because the systems that are supposed to keep their head above water let them just slip through the cracks. I know I don't get political often on this channel, however Twice's story really does require at least some political discussion due to its nature. Also, if you're one of those people that refuses to acknowledge that fiction is very often at least a little political, please go get checked for terminal brain stupid idiot face. But anyways, I heard that one of the leading causes for terminal brain stupid idiot face is not liking, subscribing, and ringing the bell. Anyways, Twice's first mission was to provide support to the Vanguard Action Squad in their mission to kidnap Katsuki Bakugo. There we got to see a bit of Twice's deliberately Deadpool-esque personality, and we got a basic understanding of his quirk, but he wasn't really a main player. But the first time we really see what Twice keeps wrapped up under the mask is when the League of Villains ally briefly with the Shie Hasaikai. The mission is a challenge for Twice, but once his mask is ripped open, all else fades away while his mind splits apart, different personalities pouring out of his head, unable to wrap himself back up. He can't feel whole. But then, someone shows Twice real, genuine kindness, maybe not for the first time in his life, but for the first time we've ever seen. Himiko Toga, a fellow League member whose mental faculties have been massively altered by her quirk. A fellow League member who was not only abandoned and vilified by the Hero Society, wraps him back up with her handkerchief, for no other reason other than Jinbu Baigawara is her friend. Twice graciously returns the favor in incredible fashion when the League of Villains performs a full frontal assault on the Metahuman Liberation Army. Also worth noting that Twice advocated for the assault due to the Liberation Army kidnapping and torturing his friend Giran. But when Toga is nearly killed in front of Twice, he pushes through the years of paranoia and mental anguish and realizes that he is the real Twice, and always has been.
Let's go, Twice! It's time for a massacre! A march of grief! Sadman's Parade!
And this is where Twice's life might as well have ended. We will get back to the significance of Sadman's Parade here in a bit, but first, let's just get something out of the way. Twice is a good person. Like, he always has been. Twice loves his friends and would do anything to protect them, because they're all such great people. Well, no, some of them are actually pretty fucking awful people.
It's because I'm an outcast!
I think I've got an idea.
He loves them because they all do the right thing? Well, no, pretty consistently they do the wrong thing. Oh, I know, he loves them because they all have rib cages.
Exactly where we belong!
No, he loves them because they're his friends, because they care for him, they gave him a home, they didn't tell him he's broken and cast him aside for someone else to deal with. So now that we've acknowledged that Twice is a good person, and you agree with me, because you better, let's talk about Sadman's Parade. When Twice pushed through his mental block and was able to become a one-man army, the Hero Commission, the governing body in Japan behind Hero Society, took notice. His mission was twofold. One, to find out what the army is planning and when the optimal time for Hero Society to strike would be. And two was to become Twice's friend, and just before the heroes attack, incapacitate him so that he alone cannot turn the tide. In sharp contrast to Twice, the man with the crappiest luck, the worst thing Hawks' quirk ever did to him was compel him to make terrible bird puns.
I can't let things get worse while I wait for you guys just so you get practice.
Then, why'd you ask me to intern with you in the first place?
We're birds of a feather.
Is that a joke?
Not only that, but Hawks was raised by the Hero Commission to be their weapon. Meanwhile, the closest that the Hero Commission ever got to helping Jinbu Baigawara was when they sent their bitch to kill him. In his dying moments, through a clone which is melting right in front of Toga's eyes, Twice tries to give her back the handkerchief that saved him, but the clone just dies in her arms while she thanks him for saving her. Twice's last words admonish Hawks for daring to refer to him as unlucky, because he was happy with his life. With them. I know that the world can seem cruel and unfair, and a lot of times that's because it is. However, I have always been a big believer that as much as reality informs fiction, fiction can inform reality. What was the one thing that sent Jinbu Baigawara down this path? I'm not sure. No one's life is ever really that simple. But I can say one thing. His inability to get help for his severe mental problems started with people refusing to speak about their own mental issues, acting like they're just not there. Oftentimes, people who are circling the drain of their own mind feel trapped, because the only people who will talk to them, frankly, are other mentally ill people, which doesn't create the healthiest support system. So if we really want to even start on the path of fixing some of these issues, as mental health seemingly becomes a growing concern with each passing day, we need to be honest with each other. So, with that being said, my name is Shane Fredrickson. I have struggled with, and occasionally do struggle, still, with depression and anxiety. And I know that if you're struggling right now, it might seem very, very lonely. But so many people around you struggle every day. I know that might seem sad, and it kinda is. But if we start being more honest with each other about if we're going through a tough time, if we have been through a tough time and gotten out the other side of it, then I think that the world might not seem so vast and daunting anymore, and it will be a little easier to carry that struggle with you. But I promise you that if you have struggled with these issues, as so many people do every day, you will always have a place in this community, and I am proud of you. But that is the video for today, y'all. Thank you for joining us as always. Hey everyone, as always, thank you so much for watching that video, especially if you made it this far. I know that one was a bit heavier than some of my recent uploads, but, you know, sometimes you need that bit of more analytical kind of character thought to make drinking games and stupid shit like that more fun. But anyways, what I gotta show off for my collection today is Chainsaw Man #1. A lot of you have probably heard of this, especially you've heard me talk about it. But the anime is airing right now, and so far it is incredible. I really can't tell you whether or not you should watch the anime or just read the manga. Obviously, the manga has a lot more shit in it right now. But the anime, man, the presentation, the voice acting, all, like, top-notch. So I can't really recommend one over the other. If I had to pick a third choice, though, it would probably be Therapy. You'll need that after reading this. But this is one of the best first edition covers I've seen in a long time. But anyways, thank you so much for watching that video. As always, y'all, have a good one. Bye.